Joining us for the next half hour is Georgene Louis, Representative, District 26. We're going to talk to her about our term into her office. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay. Glad to have you here. I know you just got in, and I know your constituents wanted to see. So it's a good thing that you came in. You want to talk about the things you worked on and stuff, which is a great thing for you. We'll get into a little bit more into the legislative side of it. First, let's get into why you decided to run. And I'll let you take it from there and what the thought process was behind your run.
Thank you. Yeah. I've actually been working as an attorney since 2004, and a large part of my role is serving as an advocate. And definitely when the opportunity came to run for a public seat, that was one of the reasons. I wanted to advocate on behalf of my constituents. I think, especially with the new district created on the west side, we had more of an opportunity to be heard. So I was very fortunate to be able to do that.
And 26 was a brand new district, right? After they did the redistricting.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
And so your decision to run was very quick. It was not something like a very long, drawn-out thought process there. You just kind of say, well, it's a new district, let me see, or?
Yeah, I think with the new district, it happened very quickly. I thought about running for office, but I thought it would be later down the road. But definitely the opportunity to run was there, so I just kind of ran with it.
Well, you did great because you actually won.
Yes.
A lot of candidates do not win the first time around. It's a very difficult process to get in there, to get on the ballot itself, get the petitions and stuff. I'm not sure how many petitions you needed, but what's the population of your district, more or less?
It's around 67,000, I want to say. Yeah, so it's very big. Yeah. It was also a big learning process. I helped friends with their campaigns, but being the candidate yourself takes a lot more work, and I didn't realize that it was a lot more than I thought. So it was a good experience, though.
And they responded pretty well. I'm sure whatever you did right, because like I said, I know a lot of candidates that when ran first time, it was very difficult for them because you don't know exactly how to approach the streets, how to knock on doors, and how to create the brochures. And you know, this is not a paid position. You know, you're citizen legislators, and at that point, you're really deciding, okay, how much do I invest in? Then you have to do the fundraising.
Right.
So was that a difficult process as far as the fundraising? And
it was, and I think a lot of people are very uncomfortable asking for money, and I was definitely in that position where I had to really remind myself what the bigger benefit of asking for contributions was. I did have an idea about canvassing and phone banking, just with working with other people's campaigns. But it definitely is a very large investment, primarily on a candidate's time. So I always try and get that work-life balance where I put aside a certain amount of time to work and then also enjoy it. So definitely I think part of my favorite part of the campaign was going out and canvassing, talking to the voters, and just really listening to what their concerns were.
so initially you had a pretty good response when you first decided to collect petitions and all that.
Yeah. You know, just the population on the west side has grown so much, and I think that a lot of voters sometimes aren't really involved with politics, so they were really happy when someone came and knocked on their door and told them, at least for me, why I was running and why I wanted to do it. So I did get a good response. So that was really, really nice, and I think it helped me develop the confidence to go and knock on more doors and ask for contributions for the campaign.
In the initial process is the most exciting when you get into races and stuff.
Yes.
Of the races that I've been involved in, and sometimes you get rejection. It's very hard to deal with, but then you realize that that's part of that's the nature of politics,
right.
And you have to and eventually develop a little, thicker skin, which is a great thing for down the road. Okay, so how was it? Who was your challenger? I'm just trying to recall their name.
In the general election, the challenger was Louis Tafoya, so he's
and you
very
had a primary
involved in the
correct?
Community. I did early on, but then she withdrew.
Okay, so you were basically unopposed.
Yes.
Okay, so
that was nice. It saved us a lot of energy.
Yes.
It saved us a lot of time.
Yes.
So it worked out quite well.
And then tell me again the name of the gentleman, or
Louis Tafoya?
oh, that's right.
Yes,
I think I met him a couple of times.
Yeah.
And so you prevailed there.
Yes.
Your campaign came out ahead there. That must have been pretty exciting for you.
It was. It was definitely exciting. We had a little election watch party and had our supporters out there watching the campaign results. It was just a great experience altogether. Yes.
Exactly. So what were you hearing when you were knocking on doors? What were the issues of your district? I'm not very familiar with it because it's a new district.
Yeah.
I know it's part of the old, but what were they telling you? As
a lot of the concerns were the economy. People wanted to see more jobs, especially on the west side. A lot of people were concerned about education and healthcare. So, I mean, it was those areas that are really being discussed around the state, and those were largely a part of my constituents' concerns.
So they're mostly worried about the jobs, because that's an overall concern everywhere you go. I think it was something the last few years everyone is dealing with.
Yeah, and I'm still getting emails and phone calls about, you know, what can we do about jobs. So definitely a big concern. People are considering moving away because we don't have any jobs in New Mexico. So we're still feeling it very hard.
It's been pretty tough for a lot of families in New Mexico. We're one of the poorer states out there in the lower 48. We're still struggling with a lot. And then, and I noticed New Mexico usually gets hit after some of the others do. California got hit the hardest. Nevada got hit pretty hard.
Yes.
And they're both trying to recover. And we didn't get as bad as Nevada. I'm not sure if you know, but the occupancy rate there as far as housing was absolutely horrendous when you go in.
Right.
I went through there, I couldn't believe all the homes in Nevada. So.
Right, you could get a great deal out there.
Yes.
But you know, talking about housing too, and especially on the west side, when I was canvassing, I saw that we did have a lot of homes that were vacant and, you know, largely foreclosed because of the jobs. So you have that effect being felt, especially while I was walking around talking to people. So I think that's very difficult to see.
There's a lot of empty houses where you wouldn't even get a response out of it.
Yes, yes.
Because either they had moved to another district or just left the state entirely.
Yeah, or even just foreclosures too. We would see the signs on the doors. So that was really hard to see.
Very difficult, yeah. So but we're starting to come out of it. And okay, so you get into the legislature. Tell us the experience there. I know it must have been pretty nice to walk into the roundhouse.
Yeah.
Meet all the pros there, the individuals that have been there for years. So how was that? What was that like?
It was definitely a bag of mixed emotions. It was unreal, and it was exciting, and it was kind of nerve-wracking. You know, I had a large support base from the incumbents that were there. But definitely getting on the House floor was a great experience, and just kind of being in awe of that whole structure was really nice. But as a freshman, it was really great because I received some good committee assignments, and because I knew some people there, they were able to provide advice and be mentors. So I had a great experience, and the 60 days passed by so quickly.
Let's talk about it when we come back. We're going to take a short break.
Okay.
Come back and we'll talk about the exact nature of what you did there.
Great.
We'll be back shortly with Georgene Louis, a representative from District 26.